Hey everybody. Um, so I'm gonna do an update and I may just start talking and we'll see where it goes. So, I today came in. By today, I'm shooting this in the middle of the night, early morning of April 5th. Is it just me, or is everything moving so fast? We're on the 5th of April already. This month is going to be over before we know it. Jeez. Anyway, today I came in at 298.5, which officially breaks my previous low record of 298.7, only by point 0.2, but I will take it, okay? I'm not mad at it. So there you go. I just had for dinner a In-N-Out burger, protein style, meaning no bun. They wrap it up in lettuce. It's kind of like, it's so good. And I get it with ketchup and mustard with none of their special sauce and extra onion. Don't ask me why. I kind of get that from my mom. She's like obsessed with onions. Anyway, it is so good. It kind of tastes like a burger salad. And I also did a little grocery shopping tonight. On the naughty list, I got some mini Snicker bars, the fun size Snicker. Well, it's not fun size. It's the, I'm tempted to go get them, but I don't feel like it. So anyway, they're a little bit bigger than a fun size because the fun size is really tiny. I think it's like a little tiny square and stuff. These are, more like a mini rectangle candy bar, Anyway, either here nor there. But I had one of those tonight. It was delicious. Snickers with almond. And I'm hoping I don't gain anything tomorrow because I do think like kind of early in the day, I ate a bit heavy. Um, and so I'm hoping like, my body doesn't gain or anything. And I'm also doing an April challenge where I'm challenging myself to walk approximately 10,000 or to do approximately 10,000 steps per day. In this, short span of time since we've been in the month of April, two separate days, I hit over 20,000 steps. How I get in my steps, because I'm a stay-at-home mom who is at home quite often, and how I get in my steps is I have a lot of nervous energy, which I have talked about in previous videos, and so I pace around the house a lot. Listening to music, I have my what do you call it, Amazon Music account, and I like to jam to my music and just walk around the house with the phone in my hand so that I'm like, hatching eggs on Pokemon Go and all that. That's another motivation for me. I know one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about that just hit me. So I do these little voice memos on my phone so that I can keep ideas together. The downside is that I literally have hundreds of them, and I plan on getting rid of a lot of them because it's just like, I'm just, babbling a lot like, oh yeah, and I need to do this and I need to do that. And then next week I need to, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. And so I'm like, I got to get rid of this shit, because I'm going to have to go through all these voice memos and copy down ideas. This is another place, well, I haven't done this in a long time, but where I like wrote down things I wanted to talk about on here because I am, okay, I'm changing the topic. I'm going to come back to the goals topic, well, your dreams topic, okay? So just so I don't forget. But I am so serious about this endeavor. I really, really, really want this to work out. I am enjoying myself, even not getting paid. I haven't been paid a penny. Luckily, I've invested very little thus far. It's not like I've sank hundreds of dollars or anything into doing videos or anything. No offense to anybody who has. I'm just saying I haven't, thankfully. I'm shooting on my iPhone, and it's just an iPhone. Like, it's an iPhone I would have regardless of whether or not I'm doing these videos, you know. And I recently paid for a video to be promoted because I was just curious, like, how many views am I going to get if I do that on a TikTok? And I guess I can't do it on here, or maybe if I could do it on here, it'll be when I hit the 500 subscriber mark, which is my goal. I would say within the next 12 to 18 months. I genuinely hope I hit that number. But in the meantime, I do hope to make money doing content before then, even if I'm not a YouTube partner, affiliate, whatever. I hope to make it through affiliate links in my profile. I'm with Rakuten as a customer. I've never made, well, let me clarify. Outside of referring family members, I've never made any money, you know, through my referrals with them outside of family members. And the family members in question were my mom and my former partner. You know, I got those two to sign up, and I got like, I think $25 or something for each of them. And that was many years ago. Anyway, why I mention it is that I'm planning on figuring out how to put it in my videos. And my videos don't get a ton of views. You know, I'm like impressed that I have a video that recently got 500 and something views, especially because I did not expect it to get hardly any views. And like, by my standards, I don't mean by like a big YouTuber standards, but by my standards, I expected it to probably get no more than maybe 50 views or something. It was a long video. And I was just pleasantly surprised. And I got a lot of love for that video. And I'm like, thank you. And it's been very motivational to keep working at this. I'm a single mom, stay-at-home mom. I do want to tell my story at some point, but I'm not in the best headspace to really like go there yet. You know, I hope that makes sense. And when I say my story, I mean going even before childhood and stuff, or not, did I just say before childhood? Before parenthood, before I became a mama, you know. I kind of wanted to get into that. So I have so many things I want to talk about, and am I going to talk about it all here? I guess, all right, because I don't know, it's popping into my head. One of the things is about being a plus size person and the categories we get put in as plus size people. But before I let the dream thing slip my mind, let's get that out of the way, shall we? So I was doing one of my voice memos, right, the other day, walking around the house, like, you know, just talking into my phone, recording and everything. And I was thinking to myself, I and you deserve to have our dreams see the light of day. So if there is something that you genuinely want in life, whatever that is, whether it's, you know, oh, I want to write a book, I want to feel good in my skin, you know, I want to go traveling, I want to do things, whatever. Unless your goal is to like destroy the world, like you're like Pinky in the Brain or something like that, but all kidding aside, like unless it's something terrible, genuinely, you deserve to have your dreams see the light of day. Think about what you want and think about how to help yourself. Think about how to execute yourself. Pour into yourself. I know one of the things I wanted to talk about, but I don't know if I want to talk about it here, but maybe I will. Maybe about being a people pleaser, or working on being a reformed people pleaser. Okay. I'm trying to get clean from being a people pleaser, but we're going to, you know, talk about that either in this video or I'll talk about it in another video. But what I was saying is that you and your dreams deserve to see your dreams come to fruition. Okay. To see the light of day. You deserve that. And every time you do something where you bury what you really want, then you are essentially telling yourself, I don't deserve those things. And for me, with my obesity issues, okay, so I kept choosing, and I've talked about this previously, I kept choosing to eat badly and telling myself, well, I'll get it together. I'll get it together. I'll get it together. I'm 42 years old, y'all. Okay. I know I don't look it. No, I'm kidding. No, no, no. I'm not going to. I'd like to think I don't look my age. I'd like to think. And I've been told I don't. But, here and there, oh my gosh, my ex told me I did. He waited until we broke up, and I asked him, I was like, I was fishing for compliments. I'm really bad for that. And so I was fishing for compliments. I'm like, do you think I look my age? And he said, yes. And he said it with no humor, just like, yeah. And I was like, really? And he said, do you want, you wanted me to be honest. You motherfucker. Anyway, but no, usually people do think I'm younger than I am, but I am the age that I am. Okay? And as scary as this is to say, if I have a normal age expectancy, okay, I do have a grandma that lived to be 106, but let's just assume I have a normal age expectancy. And note, I have a grandfather who's still alive in his 90s. He's my last living grandparent. But anyway, if I live to be around my early 80s or somewhere in there, then baby, I'm middle age, And what I've realized is that I can't keep putting my dreams on the back burner. What I think I'm gonna wake up at 60 and be like, okay, it's time to make these dreams come true. You know what I mean? And you can do that. Sidebar. If that's where you are, you can do that. But the absurdity of knowing that you can do it today, but you won't do it today, and making things harder on yourself is the problem. If you are a late bloomer, and I put myself in the late bloomer category, baby, it's okay. It's okay. But don't make yourself a late bloomer. Don't do that. If you know what I mean? Don't create a situation where it's like you're wasting your years. You don't get this time back. And as painful as this is, I'm going to go ahead and tell you that when you do accomplish certain goals, you're going to wish you had started much sooner. And that may sound like a cliche, and it may not sink in what I'm telling you until it happens to you, and you're going to wish you had started sooner. Okay? Hope that makes sense. Some shit, you got to go through it for you to absorb the cliche and realize how accurate it was. Hope that makes sense. So there you go. Talking about the obesity thing, since my channel is mostly weight loss focused and everything, ew, something feels like something bit me. Anyway, talking about the obesity thing, I was having a conversation with a girlfriend of mine recently, and we were talking about depending on how big you are, how difficult things can be. There is a creator on here that I just adore. Her name is Everyday Starlet. Gorgeous blonde woman. Buxom. And I just love her content so much. How I found her was on TikTok. She did a video saying that Beyonce is not Jay-Z's dream girl. And she wasn't trashing Beyonce in any way. She was just explaining that there's a reason why this motherfucker cheated on Beyonce, okay? Don't come for me. But you understand what I'm saying, right? But that's not his dream girl. And so, oh, sorry, itching. I don't know what, it feels like something bit me or whatever. Anyway, but yeah, so she had done a video about that, and that's how I found her. And, I'll be honest. Okay, can I be superficial for a second? but I'm going to hide behind my astrological sign when I say this. A lot of times when I see someone who I think is attractive, and when I say think is attractive, I'm not like, you know, like, ooh, baby, like I'm trying to hook up with you. Not like that, but just I'm drawn to beauty, right? So I'll end up subscribing to that person. But more importantly, I liked her message. You know, I liked what she was saying, and I watched more and more of her content. And I'm like, this girl is lit. And so I just love her shit. So I didn't have to curse just now. Anyway, I love her stuff. Okay, there we go. Keep it classy. Anyway, so I was just gonna say, she did a video recently where she talked about something that I thought was very interesting. So I just posted a bunch of pictures of myself recently where these pictures are from 10 years ago, between 10 to 8-ish years ago or something, but you know, they were a hot minute. And they're when I was significantly smaller, you know. And so I posted these because I was saying, yeah, I can't wait to get back down to these weights again. And so I just thought, oh, I look so pretty in these pictures, whatever. I got them off my old iPod Touch. That's where I used to take my pictures in the old days. One of the places, at least. And so anyway, I had posted these. And by the way, I rarely get likes from men, which I should talk about that too. But I rarely get likes from men, okay? It's not that, especially in the online world, that men don't hit on me, but it's like, I feel like I get the dregs compared to most other women. Like when people make the joke of like, oh, you know, like your girlfriend, when y'all break up, she's going to have a ton of dick pics in her inbox. I'm like, where they at, yo? No, I'm not looking for that. But I'm just saying, like, that's kind of how I feel. I'm like, you know, is it just me? Like, you know, that joke where, you know, somebody says, I only got this. And it's like, well, I only got this. And then the person is like, y'all are getting stuff? Like, whatever it is, you know what I mean? It's got the dude, like the young, he looks like a teenager. He's like, y'all are getting stuff, you know, whatever the thing is, fill in the blank to whatever they're talking about, you know? And in my case, like, it's not that I never get hit on in the internet world. I rarely get hit on in person. And it's not that I don't get hit on in the internet world, because I do, especially on TikTok. Strangely, what is that all about? I mean, the only thing I can figure is that because they're seeing me make videos, they're like, oh, okay, well, at least I know what she looks like. And you know what I mean? Like, I know that this is a real woman, and I don't mean that in a quote-unquote anti-trans way. Sorry, I got a water over here. Hold on. But you know what I mean, that I'm not a bot and I'm not a man, you know, trying to steal from you or something. So they're like, oh, you know, hey, how you doing, beautiful? Good morning, beautiful. Grand rising, beautiful. Like, you know, whatever. But I don't entertain those messages. They don't do anything for the most part, they don't really do anything for me. And when I say for the most part, I mean, maybe to a certain degree, they make my ego feel a little bit better. Like, well, I guess somebody thinks I'm cute, but they don't do anything for me as far as me thinking, ooh, I found a match. Okay, let's see where this guy lives. I don't care where you live, you know? To be honest, if I don't meet you, as far as a man goes, if I don't meet you on the street, like in a in-person situation to start with, I'm not interested. I'm not. I have severe trust issues, so you better meet me outside, okay? Cash me outside, okay? Don't text me, you know, being a complete stranger and shit. It just doesn't do anything for me. I hope that makes sense. So anyway, on that note, and I feel like men don't hit on women like they used to. You know what? I'm going to open up so many cans of worms, I feel like, in this. I just randomly decided, like, I want to do a video. I was just in the mood to. And now I realize I'm going to open up a can of worms. I think, okay, controversial opinion. I think a part of why a lot of us modern day women will act hypersexual and dress hypersexual, anyway, dress hypersexual, is because men don't hit on women like they used to. Okay? It's not that it never ever happens. Obviously, it happens, and of course, there are men who go too far, and we call them creeps. Okay? But I feel that on average, men do not hit on women in the same way that they used to. And because of, like, we kind of, okay, this is my opinion and it's controversial, bear with me. I feel like society kind of has men on a little bit of a leash. And I say a little bit because obviously we do hear about the psycho guys who hurt women and just, you know what I mean, whatever, who go too far and sexually harass women, and oh, he grabbed a girl's butt as a prank, who, you know, whatever, stuff like that. We hear about that. But in general, I feel like men have kind of been neutered from what they used to be. And I feel like women being hypersexual and, you know, openly hypersexual, that is to say, and, you know, more like aggressive in that way, and also dressing revealing and stuff, and then getting annoyed that some guy is looking at you when your boobs are out and stuff. And please don't come at me with the slut shaming thing, because it's not about being a slut or anything. And by the way, I dress like that sometimes, so you know. But anyway, my point is, in fact, I've caught hell for like dressing slutty or whatever. So no, that's not where I'm coming from. But I do think that a part of why we do it is to elicit a response from men that at one time in history was more freely given than it is now. Like, you know, there was a joke, probably on, not Designing Women, I'm sorry, probably on Golden Girls or something, about, like, you know, I don't know, one of my shows, about passing by a construction site just to get the guys to whistle at you and make you feel good. Well, I think in general, unless you are a ridiculously attractive woman, you could, if you're like kind of cute and below, you could probably pass by a construction site and they're not going to bother you. They're going to, like, you know, just sit around while the one guy works or something. You know what I mean? But no. But I'm just saying it's just a different vibe, I think. I mean, I guess it depends on your location. Everywhere is different. I'm telling you, that seems to be what I'm picking up, though, that men are not as, like, openly, just like men are so scared to ask women out now. And we've joked about men wanting the princess treatment themselves and everything, you know, and they feel like a woman should take them out and spoil them. This is like, this would be so unheard of for the most part back when I was a kid, you know, that it's like, he wants the princess treatment. I'm supposed to ask him out, like, outside of a Sadie Hawkins thing. That was like not expected of you as a woman. You know, that Shira 7, who let me just say this about Shira 7. I love her. I don't know her like that, but I still love her. And when I first saw her, she annoyed the crap out of me with that, you know, take a man for his money, sprinkle, sprinkle. I'm like, why does she keep saying sprinkle, sprinkle after every fucking thing? Now I'm like, yeah, sprinkle, sprinkle, girl. Now I'm like, I love her, but I've like watched so much of her content. Her stuff is some of the most stolen content online, you guys. Anyway, I was watching some of her content, and one of the things she said was that if a guy is too scared to man up and approach you and tell you, like, hey, I'd like to date you or whatever, that is not your man, okay? Now, if you're married to some guy like that and you're like, well, I had to make all the moves and we've been together for 25 years, good for you. But in general, women find that when we have to be the pursuers, it usually doesn't work out too hot, okay? And one thing I love about the everyday starlet lady, oh yeah, that's what Shira 7 was saying, though, going back to the whole, like, that's not your man thing. And I 150% agree. Stop settling. That's not your boo. Um, what was I going to say? The everyday starlet lady, she was saying something that I 100% agree with, and I've said in private conversations to people, which is that we keep trying to say that men and women are interchangeable, and we're not. We're not. There are some exceptional women and exceptional men that sometimes, kind of seemingly blur those lines, or something, like a guy who's hyper emotionally intelligent and a woman who can lift 300 pounds, but that is not the norm. Like, we are not interchangeable, and that's okay. And some people feel like for things to be quote unquote equal, that we have to all be the same. And I don't agree with that. So that's my opinion on that. But anyway, talking about plus size women, getting back to that one point I was going to make about plus size women. So there's an old video of me on here from early 2017. Now, I think the backstory of said video was my ex, aka my co-parent, and I, we had started dating in 2017. There was this really, I'm not trying to be mean about this girl. She was cute, okay? But in his mind, she wasn't just cute. Like, if I would say she was, say, on a scale from 1 to 10 to 7, in his mind, she was a 20, okay? That was, I guess, his dream girl or something. She was a little petite, white female with dark brown hair, and I think she had brown eyes and stuff, and nice looking girl. But to me, I felt like she looked like a normal girl next door, but on the cute end of it. And anyway, neither here nor there. And ultimately, it's not about what I, as a woman, thinks when she is a heterosexual female that's not checking for me. So who cares what I think? But that's another story. Anyway, so he wanted her. And I had seen in his phone, after I became pregnant with his child, all these messages of him trying to hook up with this girl. I hope I didn't slip up and say her name. I hope I didn't. Anyway, it was all these messages of him slipping up, or Freudian slip. Anyway, of him, trying to holler at this girl behind my back and begging her for a chance, and she was not interested. Okay, she wasn't checking for him like that. He did not have the social capital to pull this girl, or a girl like her, without, like, just a blessing falling in his hands or something. He just didn't have it like that. And, to be honest, I felt like I was kind of out of his league too when we very first started dating, but eventually, I caught up to his league. Anyway, and when I say out of his league, I just mean, like, I was a cute girl, and, it's like I was getting hit on, or rather, men were attracted to me, but I had gone through losing technically over 100 pounds. I like to say I lost 90 something pounds, but really I lost over 100 pounds. I had started out the beginning of 2014 with my weight loss journey at about 315.8. Okay. And then I lost 14.2 pounds without trying to lose it. It just came off. I was eating seaweed, and I know I've told this story a million times, but I think that the iodine in the seaweed had kickstarted my thyroid, and that's why I lost that weight without trying to. So something to think about, try seaweed, okay? Anyway, point is that, and I had this heavy set male friend who was over 400 pounds, and we agreed to lose weight together. So we started losing weight together, and eventually we ended up going our separate ways over petty drama and stuff. We ended up going our separate ways, but I kept on going on my journey, and I would eventually get down to 209 pounds. For reference, as mentioned, I'm 298.5 now, and I had to work my ass off just to get down to this weight. So that's a big difference. Like, I'm almost 90 pounds bigger than where I was at my lowest. Anyway, so I saw a whole different world when I lost that weight, and even my preferences changed. When I was very overweight before this weight loss journey, I loved big boys. I was here for big boys. It's like, where's that zaddy bod? Okay, like I want a big boy. But then, and I feel like a part of why I was interested in big men was because, like for me, was because I felt like they were less likely to reject me. Um, yes and no. I do think there's some truth in that a big person is, like, namely a big man, let's stick to that, is a little bit less likely to reject a plus size woman. Because, and I hate to say it, but I do think there's kind of like that low hanging fruit theory of like, okay, you're low on the totem pole in society in terms of being what's considered the preferred type, and so I feel like I can get you. And that's always been my mentality. I hate to say that. I just want to keep it 100%, and I hope I don't hurt anybody's feelings, okay? But that's how I saw it. But I thought, oh no, this is just kind of what I like. I think deep down inside, I knew it was kind of the low hanging fruit theory, but I told myself, which I think is kind of self-explanatory, low-hanging fruit. But I told myself it was because I just thought they were cute or something. Well, let me just tell you, when I lost all this weight, all of a sudden I'm attracting men who are more sought after by society. Okay. All of a sudden, guys like, who I'm just like, wow, I can't believe this hot blonde guy wants me or whatever, you know what I mean? Are starting to hit on me and be flirtatious with me and everything, because now they're seeing me as what I like to call on the menu, right? Well, it didn't last long before I started regaining weight, because a lot of like really shitty things kind of all happened at once. And plus, by the way, I wasn't really entertaining men when I was losing this weight, because not really entertaining. I wasn't entertaining at all, because I was quote unquote in love. I thought I was in love with a man I've never even met online who catfished the shit out of me. Okay. He gave me gifts and everything. Wow, I'm spilling tea on myself. Anyway, he gave me gifts and everything. So I thought he was like serious about me. I thought and we had the deepest conversations, like, well, not the deepest, more like from an emotional standpoint, the deepest conversation, telling each other we loved each other and talking for hours a day. Y'all, I remember when I lost my mind. Have you guys seen that challenge? Anyway, talking about the stupid things you did for love. But yeah, he ended up playing me, but when I was talking to him, I wasn't checking for any other guys. And then we fell apart sometime in 2016, and I went through a lot of depression and all that, and I went to my old drug, which is food, and I regained this weight. And I noticed as I was regaining, men started treating me different. Guys who were cheesing in my face 15, 20 pounds ago, all of a sudden were averting their eyes. I mean, that's literally how fucked up it was. And that's why I get so annoyed when people like play about thin privilege and pick on people for wanting to be hyper proportionate, like that Slim Kim lady who said that her favorite thing about herself is that she's slim. And I've talked about this in a previous video or two, where I just said, I understand why she feels that way, and she's not wrong. She's not wrong at all. Stop. Like, who wouldn't want to be treated, hell, even to be treated human? Some people say, like, what I've seen a lot of people who lose weight say, I know I'm going off on a tangent. Anyway, a lot of people who lose weight say that when they lost weight, they didn't realize how inhumanely they were treated when they were plus size until they lost weight. I'm at a stage where I am, for the most part, ignored. And in that one video that I did that was over 40 minutes long, I think, that I did recently, it had over 500 views. That one, I mentioned about a man who acted like I was a complete non-factor to his girlfriend, who is 10 years my senior. Again, doesn't look her age, very beautiful woman. I'm not in competition with her at all, and she has a great figure and all that. I get it. But to act as if I don't even fucking exist, like I might as well have a BBC in between my legs. Hint, hint. You get what I'm saying? Like, dude, you know? And that's the kind of shit that I contend with as a bigger person. Now, I'm jumping from topic to topic in this realm, and there's always going to be more time to talk about this in other videos. But that being said, or more opportunities to talk about this, whatever. Anyway, that being said, though, I was mentioning about men, like reacting to me and stuff. Like, you know, when I posted those smaller pictures of me, all of a sudden, I'm not just getting girls liking me. Like, you guys have heard the girl pretty, boy pretty thing, where, like, there's a difference between, to some degree, a difference between what girls think of as pretty and what boys think of as pretty. I can be the way that I am right now, and there are some women who will give me love and just say, you know, oh, you're so pretty, or you look really cute, whatever. I don't get that from guys. I have to lose weight to get that from guys on average, okay? It's not to say that I've never been hit on. Like I said, I have had dudes, for instance, on TikTok, you know, like, Grand Rising Queen, you're beautiful or something. I'm making fun, but you understand what I'm saying. But I'm getting, to be quite frank, the dregs. I am not getting the guys that most height and weight proportionate women would be interested in if we're having that honest conversation. I am getting the low-hanging fruit when I do get it, you know what I mean? In general, okay, at this size. And that's another reason why it's a really big deal to me to get this weight off. Because I know that I'm probably not going to meet my ideal mate at this size. You know, I don't begrudge a plus size woman finding her guy. And, you know, when you find your fairy tale prince and stuff, and, you know that this is a guy who you could fight with a skinny, attractive woman over, like he's that dude or whatever. I love that for you. I genuinely do. But that hasn't really been my story. And I just got a message. I don't know what that's about. Hold on. Anyway, but yeah, I was just saying, to wrap it up, that kind of left me discombobulated. But yeah, just to get back to the point, is that in general, though, I don't see that. In general, when I'm not trying to sound terrible, I promise I'm not, but this is going to lead into something else, okay? Again, painfully honest conversation here. But in general, when I see a plus size woman who has consistently been plus size, in general, not always, at all, the dude is not somebody who other girls are trying to throw hands with you over. In general. Okay? Not always, but that's the norm. Okay? That I notice. At least that I've observed. And, here's what I was going to bring up. So, I used to follow a lot of weight loss surgery. I was going to say weight loss journey, that too, but weight loss surgery women, back in the day when I was on my weight loss journey. One of the things that I found interesting about them, even though I was trying to lose weight naturally, of course, one of the things I found interesting about them was that, of course, like, there's a difference. If you go and get VSG, okay, you got two women. One woman is doing things naturally, and one woman chose to get VSG. they both have food addiction issues. They both have things, but that tool, aka, the surgery, it helps like control you like a leash. So it's more likely to be successful compared to you doing it by yourself. Now, I'm doing it by myself, and shout out to those of us doing it by ourselves because we don't want to alter our bodies and all that stuff. No tea, no shade to anybody who does. That's not what I mean. But because we don't want to undergo it, whether we're scared or we just don't want the permanent change. You hear some people can't enjoy sugar or certain foods after, whatever, right? So we're doing it on our own. But the truth is, the people who have the surgery tend to be more successful than the people doing it naturally, as far as I understand. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong if you have different information, but that seems to be the case. And that surgery definitely helps. It does do what it's supposed to do. Now, why am I mentioning this? Because I had a point. Oh, yeah. So okay, so it could be two women and they're both like, hey, one girl with the surgery, one girl without. And they're like, hey, I'm going on a weight loss journey. The girl with surgery is probably going to get more results than the girl who's doing it by herself. And again, do it by yourself, do it with drugs, do it with surgery, do whatever you want to do. Don't say I sent you, but do whatever you want to do. I'm just making a point, though, that surgery, there's a reason why people get it. And there's also a reason why a lot of us follow. And I'm not going to lie, most of the time when I see someone who has lost a tremendous amount of weight, nowadays the GLP is competing with the surgery in terms of popularity. However, GLP-1s are competing with the surgery. That's the drugs like Wegovy and Ozempic and all that, right? However, most of the time when I see a person who has lost a tremendous amount of weight, we're talking like well over 100 pounds or something, almost always in the caption, weight loss surgery, or now GLP-1. Okay. Yes, you can do it naturally. Yes, plenty of people have. I've even lost weight naturally. Yes, I regained it, but I still did it. All that, I get it. And I'm not anti-natural weight loss because by me saying this, like I'm a Libra. I believe in being fair and balanced, baby. So even if it's an unpleasant truth, I like to still put it out there. And going back to the original point, I used to follow a lot of people who had weight loss surgery because it was like almost guaranteed they were going to lose weight. That's why I found them fascinating and stuff, and to see those changes in their bodies and everything. Well, about that, I hope you guys aren't bored with me. Anyway, about that, shit. I forgot where I was going with it was somebody I was going to talk about. Shoot. Oh, I know what it was. Is that the divorce rates went through the roof for the women. The women would divorce their husbands. There was one who will remain nameless. Okay, so, if you think the song is about you, then that says what you think, okay? Because I am not naming names, okay? But there was this one woman who had weight loss surgery. She was a pretty lady and became even better looking after losing all the weight and stuff, whatever. Well, she hooked up with this guy, and let me just tell you, by traditional beauty standards, this guy was so unattractive. I know I'm wrong. I'm just saying, by traditional beauty standards, he was super unattractive. Do you guys know that I wasn't shocked that she divorced him? And the guy she hooked up with after him was a lot better looking. Okay? And I've seen that they usually level up in the looks department. These women, all of a sudden, women who were completely ignored, or only could get a certain kind of guy or whatever, one or the other. All of a sudden, guys from different walks of life and, better than the ones that they have on paper, not talking about somebody's character, is taking an interest in them. Guys who they didn't have access to before, Like I did in one of the previous videos, I talked about the woman who it was almost like it finally hit her like a coconut on the head. This motherfucker is with me because I'm hot now. But the old me, who I'm like, keep her name out of your mouth, he would not have been with her. He's with you because you look better now. You're traditionally attractive now. You know, this one woman, again, not naming names, and she put this out there, and she put it out there many years ago. So, but she said that she cheated on her husband, but not physically, that it was an emotional affair with another guy. And she, in so many words, said that it's like, without saying it, it's hard to explain it, but here's basically her story. She was fat. She found a dude who would accept her. He did accept her. They got married. She was with him, but then once she got that weight loss surgery, she realized, I settled. So she had, she got a, or excuse, not she got a divorce. She, you know, went for a guy who was now interested in her because she didn't look how she used to look. And that's why, again, I keep getting, like, when I know these little facts about, you know, human nature and people and all that kind of stuff and how people treat you and everything, you know, if Ted Bundy looked like Harvey Weinstein, he probably wouldn't have had any victims. What do y'all think? Do y'all think he would have had victims? Like, the joke about Ted Bundy is that, you know, because he was a good looking guy is how he ensnared all those victims, you know, because these women were taken by the fact that he was an attractive man. I'm not going to lie, especially if I don't have my thinking cap on, if some really cute guy was talking to me, I might do something dumb too. Like, oh, sure, I'll help you get these groceries to your apartment. Never to be heard from again. So, no, but I'm just saying. Now, what I was going to talk about before is like how, based off of how big you are, how you're treated in a way. And this is what I mean. Okay. So all plus size is not equal. You being, let's say, 5'5", 200 pounds, which is still considered to be plus size, depending on who you ask. Anything with a 2 in front is typically, not always, typically considered to be plus size, unless you don't look it. If you know what I mean? Like, I've seen some women who have weight loss channels, and they're like 200 pounds or a little bit more, but because of their body composition, they don't look it. But if people can tell you're 200 pounds, then they typically think of you as plus size, right? Well, the experiences of a, say, 200-pound woman versus a 300-pound woman versus a 400-pound woman, those are different. You know, there is a privilege even within the plus size community. One thing that Everyday Starlet had mentioned was that she had gotten down to a size 10, which a lot of people would not even categorize as plus size. Like, that is a straight size 10. And and I want to talk about race too, you guys, per the obesity topic. I want to talk about that too. But right now, let me just cover this. And the woman I'm referencing, she's a white woman. Anyway, she said that these companies were reaching out to her to work with her. And they were plus size clothing companies. So straight size clothing companies, even though she was a straight size as a size 10, they were not reaching out to her. It was the plus size companies that wanted her to represent their products. And then when she got bigger, and I mean, she wasn't the kind of big ever where she was like, you know, moving around in a motorized scooter kind of big. You know, she, in fact, probably never even as big as me or anything, right? You know, but bigger than that size 10, she said they stopped messaging her. These companies weren't interested. And ironically, that's when she would have been perfect to market plus size clothing, and they did not seek to work with her. And mind you, this is a very beautiful woman we're talking about, you know? And I get it. Like, at first I was like, oh my gosh. And then I get it. You know, a lot of times when I look at plus size fashion, Though a lot of companies are getting better about this, thankfully, they've heard our complaints and they're getting better, but they will have a woman that is not really plus size. Let me tell you, when I was 209 pounds, I was a size 14 in Mrs. Clothing. Okay, not plus size, Mrs. Clothing. I was a size 14. And let me tell you, I just wore straight size clothes. Straight size clothes, meaning non-plus size clothes. And sidebar, straight size clothes are typically more flattering than plus size clothing. The way that, because it's like with plus size clothing, typically, they try to make them for like any plus size body type. And so they end up looking crazy if you don't fit that body type. Like if you're someone who, for instance, with me, most of my weight is in my upper body, not my legs. So, when you make the jeans where the legs are super wide and, maybe the butt is pretty wide or pretty, loose or whatever, it looks stupid on me because that's not my body type, If you're a flat chested plus size girl, and they exist, I'm not one of them, but if you are one, then a lot of times you struggle to find bras that fit you because the band won't correspond with your actual cup size. Like you still need a large band because your overall, your chest is wide and, you have back fat, but the breast tissue is lacking, and that sucks, I can wear a smaller pair of underwear than you would think. Like, I'll give you an example with Victoria's Secret. Oftentimes I will get, I think, XXL, but I can do, like, I think the pair I'm wearing right now is like XL, and remember, up until recently, I've been in the 300s, these are not new panties. Okay. So, but a lot of women who are my weight, they have a bigger butt, bigger thighs, and the way their bodies are shaped, they need a bigger pair of underwear. So, whatever. So it's just interesting how that works. But yeah. My point is, though, they love to use women who are just like, oop, hold on. My bad. Okay. I'm sorry. Anyway, they love to use women who are like barely plus size, and they know that based off of our traditional beauty standards, that's what we think we're gonna look like that. Like somebody, I know who it was. It was this woman, her name is Damsel in Allure. I really like her. I follow her on Facebook and also on TikTok, but I haven't seen that many TikTok videos from her, I think. But anyway, about her really quickly. So I mostly do Facebook with her. She just started a weight loss journey, I think, a health and fitness journey or something, whatever. And a lot of people have been complaining because some people, and I can understand the sentiment, when you're following a plus size influencer, plus size fashion influencer, it can be annoying when they lose weight because you feel like, oh, were you a fraud all along, talking about you love the skin you're in and all that kind of, you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, I cheer for you, but depending on the mindset I'm in at that time, especially if I'm in the mindset where I'm just gaining weight and where I'm deep into those 300s, it might be hard for me to watch somebody who went from, say, my size or around my size down to a size 14. And, I'm like, bitch, I started following you because you looked like me and now you don't look like me anymore. And I'm saying again, not so much these days, but I understand that mentality because I have had it before. It's just like I did a video a long time ago where I said, I know I've been talking way too long. I'm going to cut this pretty soon. But anyway, I did a video a long time ago where I said that I had unfollowed some weight loss channels when I wasn't in a healthy mind space because it was making me feel bad about myself. Watching other people do the shit that I should have been doing made me feel bad about myself. So I had to bye, see ya, and no shade. I wasn't, wishing ill on them or anything. It was just, I wasn't in, like, I'm losing. Sidebar. Here's my view. You know how you hear the saying, oh, people don't really want you to win, or people want you to win, like, or do good. They just don't want you to do better than them. With me, let's say my bestie became a millionaire. Woo, you go, girl. Yay. Okay. I'm happy for you. Okay, I mean that. I am happy for you. I am happy for other people's success. As a PCOS girl, I shout out women who, and again, it's not that I can never be petty or jealous or envious, just to be clear, and that's the point that I'm trying to make. But overwhelmingly, I am happy for other people, right? With me, it's not that I need to be doing better than anybody. It's that I don't want to be in the gutter. Okay. So like, or in the dumps, or however you want to look at it. So like, for instance, let's say I fell off the rails and I regained all this weight that I just lost. And mind you, I'm still morbidly obese as we speak, but I'm just using this as an example. I shot back up to like about 350. Okay, just for me, and I'm not knocking you if you weigh 350. I'm just talking about myself because that is my highest weight range that I know of, right? So I just shot up like that. And then I'm watching other people, trim down and attract, quality men and all that. Then that's painful to watch. But watching people trim down, attract quality men, do well in their lives when I feel comfortable in my life. Like right now, I would love to be smaller, don't get me wrong, but I am grateful. I am full of gratitude for how far I've already come, right? So it's not painful for me to see another person succeed. Because I'm good. It's not that, obviously, I'm not doing better than somebody who went from my weight down to 150 or something like that. I'm not doing better than you. But because I'm okay in my lane, then it's like I can celebrate you without it hurting. I hope that makes sense. I'm a human being with feelings, and this is the best honest description of like my views on my personal envy and how I see things. And now the people who I think are odd, and I also believe that there's enough for everybody to eat. Like, again, hello Libra. Anyway, I think that we can all win and stuff, and that your wins don't diminish my wins. Typically, it's just more like when I talked about the jealousy thing, that it just highlights like, why am I not doing what I should be doing? And it makes me feel even worse about myself. I don't know. But overall, I root for people. Hope that makes sense. And I don't understand people in general who they're doing good in their lives and they resent other people for quote unquote doing better. And they say when you see successful people, you don't know what that person has gone through. And not that they need to go through hell to enjoy heaven, but ironically, it's just that you don't know what that person has gone through before they got to that point. I feel like I have some incomplete thoughts here. I know one of the things I do want to cover is my opinion about race and obesity, like the differences with plus size Black women and plus size white women and how we're treated in society and everything. So maybe I'll do that in another video, but I don't want to talk for too long, so I'll just say this. Y'all, see, this is how I lose my thoughts. I talk so damn much that my brain just branches off in different areas and stuff. People who know me, you know how I am. But, no, I just, oh yeah, about the way we're treated is, yeah, it's definitely a difference between, and this isn't what I was going to say. I was going to say something else and I lost that train of thought, so I'm going to jump back on this one, is that there's definitely a difference. Like, for instance, I'm going to close it up soon after this. I have known people that they have just been completely dismissed It's like they never get to, like, they don't get the guy, and they get dismissed and everything just because they're bigger than the average big person. You know what I mean? Like, if the average big person is between, let's say, 250 and 320 or something, they're significantly bigger than that. And, you know, people treat them like they're a clown or a non-entity or whatever. You know, meanwhile, if you're a small fat person, then you're considered to be hot. Oh, I know what I was going to say about Damsel really quickly, to go back to it, is that she had said the funniest thing. I'd have to go back. I don't have my other phone in front of me, unfortunately, where I can pull it up. But she said the funniest thing was, she said something like, you know, okay, you guys, you want me to like show, this is not verbatim, but she said something like, you know, you guys just want me to show you fashion so you can make your fat body look like a shape that it's not. And I was like, no, you didn't, girl. I agree with you, because I do it all the time. But at the same time, it was the way she said it. Like, you guys would have to go look at that post. If you follow, I think her name is Damsel in Allure. If you follow her, go look at that post. She put it on her Facebook. I don't know where else she might have posted it, but she did put it on her Facebook, and it was freaking hilarious. I'm like, sis, not you going hard on these girls, because they started like giving her a hard time for getting quote unquote healthy. And that's another thing of why, please leave people alone on weight loss journeys, because this, most 300 plus pound people, if they don't do something about it, are probably not going to get to hang out with their grandkids, unless they had kids young and those kids have kids young. But you know what I mean? They're not going to get to be super old people. It is not healthy. There are health ramifications, okay, to being very obese and stuff, you know? And so let's not do that. If somebody chooses health over, you know, being a plus size influencer, more power to them, whatever. But don't shame people for choosing their health. Don't do that. And also don't shame people for choosing privilege either, because bitch, that's what I'm doing, okay? No. I mean that figuratively, but seriously, like that, I'm trying to choose privilege. I'm just gonna let you know right now, I'm trying to choose health and privilege. So wish me luck. Anyway, so many thoughts running around in my head, and I know I just go off and off and off, whatever. So I'm gonna cut it here. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye.